Hello everyone, my name is Taylor.
And I am Ray. And look, more gaming. Are you tired of it? Too bad. Yes.
That's Peyton.
I mean, it's not like we're pulling in new people. If we wanted to do that, we gotta do Fortnite right now, or apparently Baldi's Basics.
What even is Fortnite?
I don't know, I don't play it. But from an outsider's perspective, I'm gonna say cartoons shoot each other with guns, then dab.
That doesn't even sound like English. I mean, I barely know what dabbing is.
This is what it feels like to grow old, Taylor. One day you're just gonna be out of touch with the kids. They're gonna tell you they're doing the Zigabounce, and you're not gonna know what that is.
Well, moreover, I'm not gonna care.
I think adults trying to act like they care and are into what the kids are doing is the lamest thing ever anyway, yes. Yeah, I mean, like, you could be a crotchety old person playing Fortnite, but you gotta do it seriously, I think. You gotta be unhappy the entire time.
Like, what is it, a punishment? To show the kids how the previous generation is better than them?
Yeah. You know, one of these days, when I'm old, when I'm in like my, 60, as soon as my hair turns gray, I'm gonna start logging into video games, and I'm just gonna make it like an effort to kill 13-year-old kids all the time. And I'll be like, you know how old I am? I could be your parents. That was some of the worst Fortnite playing I've ever seen, yes. Your kids would be a lot better at your video games if you weren't always playing on your iPhones, yes. Gosh dang, with your rap music and your big shoes and your skateboards, they call me the Silver Slayer, you know, because I gotta wait till my hair is gray.
That's why, huh?
That's why. You gotta build up a legacy, you know? Like, that's the thing the kids don't do, is they just play the game. They're not, like, constructing an identity around this...
Hate-riven persona?
Yes, just a core of hatred. I envy your youth, and I will thus destroy it.
Man, you know, when I was in high school, I was one of those kids that never really kept up with the latest fad. And I always felt old.
Well, I mean, that's called being a nerd.
I mean, it wasn't nerdery, I just had other priorities.
Nerd? You call me a nerd.
Because you're all about, like, Star Wars and video games and nerd stuff. I was kind of just more focused on, like, school and my family and whatever.
I mean, maybe that makes you a family nerd.
There is no such thing as a family nerd.
A nerd can be anything that someone is sensitive about, yes. As long as you can be made fun of. Well, anyway, so the other thing, Baldi's Basics. You know, I've been thinking about that, and how that guy spent like a week on that game, and now it's his magnum opus. Do you think he's bitter?
You're probably gonna need to provide us with a little more background than that, Ray.
Okay, so Baldi's Basics is this YouTube fad. I think it's already dying down. But anyway, it was like this game jam thing, where these people got together and they had 1 week to make a video game. So this guy makes a game called Baldi's Basics, and it's actually pretty lame if you watch it. But it's gotten huge on YouTube, so now it's like the thing this guy's gonna be known for.
Well, you know, maybe he's taking it in stride.
I don't know. He did this update where he's got this sort of like bash on the meta commentary thing.
What is meta commentary?
You know, where like a game acknowledges that it's a game, and there's like people trapped in it or whatever. He's got a whole section where there's a guy who's like, oh no, I'm trapped in the game.
Okay. All right.
But it's super, like, condescending. And anyway, though, I think that the condescending nature of it implies that this is the kind of guy who would be bitter about Baldi's Basics being his magnum opus.
Because he's knocking on a popular trend.
Yeah, like, and so if you're gonna make fun of some popular thing, obviously you're not the kind of guy who just wants to cash your chips on any old thing. You care about the integrity of it, right?
I mean, you would think that making fun of something is a sign of integrity.
No, not because he makes fun of it, but because he's, like, bitterly making fun about it. He's being cynical with it.
Okay, alright. Well, I don't know about that guy's opinion, but what I do think is that when you start to see a parody of a thing gaining popularity, that means that that trend is on its way out the door.
Why? What? Why? How do you figure?
Well, because think about it. Like, for the audience to understand the joke, they have to know the source material so well that everyone gets the joke. That means that this thing is tired.
Well, I mean, like, that's not true for everything. You know, if you make fun of Superman, everyone knows about Superman.
I guess what I mean is, like, particular formats or trends in entertainment, you know, like the meta commentary thing. If you could make a joke about it and everyone gets the joke, that means they've all seen it 100 times.
Well, some things are just so fundamental, though, I don't think you could get away from them.
Okay, well, maybe this is not a hard, fast rule.
Cause, like, what about the hero's journey? Supposedly that's every single hero story.
Maybe I just mean surprise twists. If you can make fun of the surprise twist, everyone has seen it before.
Okay, but that's far less of a strict rule.
Well, I didn't say it was a strict rule. I'm just saying that if they're making fun of meta commentary and everyone gets the joke, then maybe the meta commentary twist is getting old.
I don't know. It's neither here nor there, and it wasn't really what I wanted to talk about. I just thought it was funny that this guy made this thing in a week, and now it's his biggest thing. It's probably the biggest thing he'll ever do.
Well, maybe not the biggest. What if he goes and he works for a game studio?
And, you know, they have him as a code monkey, and he's not gonna be, like, as big as Baldi's Basics.
That's all a pretty relative sort of thing, though.
I mean, for sheer margins. 2 weeks of work, and then, I don't even know, I think it's free. So maybe there's no sale. Maybe there's no margin.
See? biggest market failure ever.
I guess that's one way to look at it, if you're upset that this is gonna be your biggest thing. Yeah, it actually flopped. Still have plenty of mountains to climb from here.
Everything's just a matter of perspective.
You know, that happened to The Who, though, who most people recognize for the song Pinball Wizard. And if you haven't heard Pinball Wizard, check it out, because it's a great song. This was a song that was actually made just to get the album sold, and The Who were not proud of it at all. But it turned out to be their biggest hit, and they could not go a single concert without playing it. As the story goes, the guy they were negotiating with to publish their album was a really big pinball fan. So they had this album, and it was full of all these lofty ideas, and this song called Tommy, which was about this kid who's like maligned by society. So they say, well, if we want to publish this album, we gotta throw together some jaunty little thing about pinball, and this guy'll just fall all over himself for it, and he's sure to publish the album. So, it's probably the jauntiest tune on the album, it's the most fun, and everybody loved it. Meanwhile, in my opinion, Tommy is not that amazing.
You are precisely the Philistine they were commenting on.
I mean, everyone was. They're all like, oh, everyone's so shallow and dumb. Da-da-da-da-da-da, Pinball Wizard.
I mean, is that a testament to their skill? That the serious thing that's not very fun, nobody liked, but then they could just do something that everyone would love?
I don't know. I think what happens is that as an artist, you get so used to seeing what works, and then you start to get tired of it. But no one else is tired of it, because they don't spend their whole life studying the same thing, and oh my god, Peyton, what is up with your ship?
This is my ship, yes.
Why do you have a giant black warship full of all this stuff, and I've got a little flying storage unit?
Well, did you shop around? Yes. You know Earth doesn't explode until you get on the ship, right?
Oh my god.
Yeah, you know Skyrim logic. They tell you this thing's about to happen, so you go and you become the leader of the Mages Guild and you adopt some children, yes.
And you procure a giant black warship full of all the best stuff.
The world doesn't end until you advance the quest flag, yes. Besides, everyone was dead, did you notice?
Actually, yeah, I did. There wasn't a single survivor aside from yourself.
What's up with that? Did everyone just have a heart attack?
Tentacles are scary, man. They just burst up out of the ground, you just like give up on life.
Someone in the comments several videos ago was like, oh, what's Peyton doing? She's off screen. You know what? I took that as a challenge, yes. Now behold, this is what I was doing off screen.
I mean, not at the time.
No, not at the time, but between sessions, yes.
Well, this is super cool. But you know what the trouble is? Starbound's not super well optimized, so having a really big ship actually causes slowdown, depending on your computer.
Well, it's a sacrifice we're all gonna have to make, yes.
Also, fun fact about this whole battery power setup over here, Frackin' Universe introduces a whole bunch of different power options to run certain machines, but the only really reliable source of renewable energy is steam power. So we have a couple of simple steam generators with pumps perpetually running water into them, and then the power generator goes into a big battery, which powers this machine. It's really dumb, but if we want more efficient power, we have to waste resources that are not recoverable.
I thought this game had solar and wind power.
Yeah, but it's like trash garbage. I don't know, whoever set up this power mechanic is a far right-wing guy, I guess.
Well, it's the future. Like, you'd think that light power would be really efficient. You just strap some solar panels on top of your ship.
Nope, won't gather any power at all. Apparently, you used to be able to set up artificial light and they would gather some power, but I think they changed it and now it just doesn't do anything.
Well, that doesn't make any sense, though, because the whole objective of power is to make your life simpler, but if you have to constantly feed stuff into the power mechanisms, then it's wasting time and making your life more complicated.
Oh no, it gets super dumb. For example, there's a generator that you have to power, and it's supposed to protect you from the elements. But to make it work, first you craft a little chip that you could normally insert in your backpack. And if that chip were in your backpack, then at no additional cost it would protect you from the elements. You take one of those chips and you put it in the generator. Now the generator still doesn't work, you've got to run power to it. And it needs a lot of power, it can't be a simple power station. So you wind up using all this like higher tier equipment and stuff to build these power generators to make this thing run, and it's not even as good as just having a backpack. Then, on top of all that nonsense, it's not just a place and forget kind of thing. Because to get the higher power stations to work, you have to feed, like, plutonium or whatever into them. So it's just this chore, and it's so dysfunctional.
So, I take it we're not going to be doing a lot with these power structures.
No, I mean, not really. The actual making of them is super difficult, so whatever Peyton's done here, which I assume was totally legit, is probably not going to be done.
I willed them into existence through sheer anger alone.
Right. Well, I don't know how to do that in a legit playthrough, so no, we actually won't be doing that. But I will be using this arc smelter. But anyway, though, aside from that, this whole spaceship is pretty styling. I mean, it looks really good.
Thank you, yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a lot of variants, lots of neat looking angles, little backdrops and things like that. It's pretty great.
The airlock is set up to play an alarm when the outside door opens, yes.
Oh, see, that's cool. There's even some neat little wiring tricks. I gotta say though, the whole place being like lit in red is a little weird.
Well, I wanted to project an aura of pure evil, yes, and I thought to myself, what would be more evil than a jagged, poorly lit ship where you are always in danger of stubbing your toes? Yes.
Well, it's about time to wrap it up, and I don't know what to name this episode or what to have the thumbnail be about.
I mean, does it matter? You could probably name it just about anything.
I don't know. I'm thinking I'm gonna go with the Silver Slayer thing and have me shooting like teenagers, I guess. I don't know.
Whatever floats your boat, Ray.
Yep. So that said, here's where we're gonna wrap it up. Thanks for joining us, everybody. If you want to read a comic featuring us, there's a link in the description. It's super great. I recommend you check it out. And we also survive on Patreon, so if you'd like to help us, we'd really appreciate that. You guys have a great day.